Welcome back to the channel, you guys. Welcome back. So we got our next 100 mile per hour RC boat on the block. That's our freaking goal with this sucker right here. Alright, this is an Oxy Marine Dominator, hull, and hardware. Donated to the channel from J&R Marine. Thank you very much. As you guys probably already know, I sank my last one and Kobe hooked me up. So, man, you the man. You the man. You the man. So today we're going to prep this boat up for a maiden. Okay, we're going to reinforce the hull up here, the tip. Going to kind of like fast forward through it. We're going to install a 4070 1520 kV 8S capable motor, a brand spanking new HYDRA XLX2. I'm actually going to pull the stinger off, go through the Driveline. I want to cut this stuffing tube back to about right in here. Cut it back, you have a little bit more movement. We're going to pull the stuffing Teflon. We're going to pull the Teflon liner, put a receiver in it. We actually need to position the ESC. We're going to offset the ESC. We're not going to run it center. We're going to offset it because we're going to run some big ass props with that 1520. So we're going to cut this brace out. So we got a lot to do. Okay. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited. Okay, we got our work cut out for us. So let's go ahead and I'm not prepared to do the reinforcement yet. We'll do that tomorrow. Tonight we're going to pull this off, Loctite everything, cut the stuffing tube short, pull the Teflon. Right, so I removed this screw over here, and I basically just unscrewed this guy right here until it unscrewed from the rod end there, the threaded end, and we should be able to pull this out. Yeah, okay, so he hadn't cut this short yet. So yeah, where it's at now, let's see. So we got it here. So that's where the stinger goes, right? So let me get a marker. We're going to put this where it would go with a little gap there, and we're going to mark the end of the shaft. Hopefully you guys can see that green mark. Okay, so we'll just keep that in mind there. So you see this? See where the end of this flex cable with the gap and where it's supposed to be placed on the transom. You see where the end of that stub shaft is in relation to the green mark. So when you put up or down position on your stinger, it's going to put pressure on this part of the cable. Okay, so what I like doing is cutting the stuffing tube back to like right here. So when we put some positive or negative, we have this little bit of flex in the cable right here, right? So I'm going to cut it back here. Actually, we're going to cut it right here. That's where we're cutting it, right there up under that damn screw, just behind the screw hole, right here. How the hell are we going to do it without pulling the base? I could pull the base, but I'm going to try not to. So what we're going to do, and I'm going to use this hacksaw blade right here. I'm going to cut as much as I can with this. Now maybe we can bend this and break it. Yeah, so if you're going to do it like this, just cut it right behind where you want it to be, you know. cut it behind it, score the top, cut it in half, and then break it off. Right now we'll be able to grab the Teflon. Hopefully I didn't cut it too much. Pull this out, we don't need that. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'll get my file in here. Actually, let's get a new one. And I'm just going to flatten this out. I'm going to turn the camera off. This is what I do after I've cut it and I filed it flat. Okay, I take a file and I go in there and just knock any burrs off. Right. I especially try to get it like this, and I try to get it like up and down. I don't really go side to side, more up and down at an angle, because that's the angle you're going to be putting on your flex cable. So I just try to round off these edges, top and bottom, if you're looking at the boat sitting upside down like we have it, so that the cable has a nice something smooth to ride on, so it's not going to like chafe the cable or anything like that and cut it, prematurely break it. So now when we put our flex cable in there, okay, now that flex cable can flex on the cable, right? Previous, the way it's set up stock, you go to put down angle on it, it's basically restricted, you know. So now if we put down angle on it, it's got some flex. Okay, boom. I'm gonna put it all back together, gonna Loctite everything as I go. All right, so I got it cut. I'm gonna shrink, heat shrink on there, hopefully. Okay, while it's hot, we're going to put this stinger base on, I'm going to put this stinger barrel on, push it up against that piece of heat shrink, and we need another piece. Get the holes lined up, and that should keep water out, grease in. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and put my screws in. Orange Loctite, blue Loctite. As you guys seen, we got the heat shrink on, which actually isn't necessary. I realized that I actually have the stock stuffing tube in here, so it's actually a pretty tight fit here, but I would imagine it will help. On my previous Dom, I had a 1/4 inch upgraded stuffing tube, a little smaller in diameter, so the heat shrink actually was perfect to keep the grease in and water out. So there you go. So this rudder, I actually cut it I cut it just slightly higher than the water pickup. Kobe actually had a slight angle on it, a little bit below the pickup. I didn't really like it, so I flattened it out and went above it. So there's not going to be a whole lot of steering authority. Well, there is. We shouldn't need a longer rudder, okay? But we're running a 1520 kV 4070, and I'm thinking to get into the 90s, we're going to need a 49, 50 millimeter prop or better to get 90 and above, right? Which is a big prop for this boat. So we may actually need a longer rudder to prevent the prop walk and prop steer. A little more rudder authority in the water. This is kind of short with a big prop. It's going to be borderline, is what I'm trying to say. If we do, for the time being, until I get an order in, we'll use this rudder. This is an offshore electric dual pickup rudder. It's a little wider, a little longer, and it bolts right onto the Dominator bracket. Okay, basically the same bracket right here. Okay, so we can use that if we need to, right? So let's work on setup a little bit before we get too far ahead of ourselves here. So we're running 8S, gonna be running these 5000s here, and the 7200 EC packs. So with my self-riding Dominator, which by the way, the self-riding Dominator is so much heavier than the non-self-riding Dominator because it has like a extra piece of carbon fiber all the way down here with epoxy holding it in. So it's a little heavier, and the battery tray for a self-riding feature to work. So this is a much lighter hull. So I'm expecting big things from this damn boat right here. And the bottom looks so much better than my previous Dominator, stock out the box. So this is basically the setup I would have to use to run in my self-riding motor, ESC, batteries, right? So we're really kind of restricted to this setup. Okay, really restricted to this setup. So 1/3, it worked. I got some high speeds, but I was forced to run lower milliamp, like 5,000 or lower packs, 4S packs, to get that 1/3 CG. And I couldn't really get any farther back, especially with heavy packs. So now we got this non-self-riding Dominator, and we could take advantage of this real estate here in between these two pickups, right? So what I'm thinking is we'll run the ESC right here. Okay, run the ESC right here, and let's just put the batteries back. Let's see what it does. Okay, so that brought it back about 1/4 of an inch, and that's awesome. Okay, that's awesome. So we can come back a little more with the packs. Of course, I don't have the hatch on. Yeah, so yeah, I mean that's not much, but it's something. Yeah, it's like 9.5. So if I run, these packs, these 7200 EC or something large like this, let's see where the CG ends up at. That's about 10 inches. It's 10.5. So what I'm thinking, before we put motor electronics in, what I'm thinking, see this rail right here? I think I'm gonna cut right here. I'm gonna cut right here, and that elongated hole should line up level with this battery tray. So we'll be able to move our batteries back to here so that we can run a higher milliamp pack. Yep. It's about where I'll run it in the Dominator previous. So that's just behind the pickup there. 9 3/4, so that's going to be perfect. Okay, so this is why I wanted a Dominator, so I can run my batteries back. Yeah, so I can run heavier batteries. The self-riding Dominator, it really was restricting my milliamp options. Okay, so yep, we're on the right track. So what we're going to do now, we're going to hack this thing up. I hate to do it, but we're going to do it. We're going to do it. Okay, so I'm going to go in here. See this top side support right here? I'm going to cut it right here. I'm going to cut it right here as close as I can to that center support there. And we'll take this back piece out so we can put the ESC here. Okay, put the ESC there. And while I have all the tools out, I'm going to go ahead and cut this elongated hole so I'll be able to slide my batteries back, and they shouldn't impede in the rail. Boom! Alright, so the ESC fits in there. Oh, I'm so stoked, boys. So I made me a nice cut on this top side support here, top and bottom, and then I used a little bit of heat from my heat gun and heated up this top side and the bottom portion, and it basically popped right off. Okay, I also, like I mentioned, cut this. I may actually bring it back a little bit more. That way, if I'm running some really big batteries, I can get my batteries butted right up on the motor, you know. So I'm thinking on these nipples, not nipples, B, get your mind out the freaking gutter, boy. On these bullets, I may need to solder up a 90, like come in on those holes, come in off the side, so I can get, or at least 90 on this one, right? Then the rest, they can be all the same. But it fits. Holy shnikes. So I want to work on hatch locks. Let's go ahead and get that worked out. Put these carbon fiber triangle pieces, 3mm thick, right here. It actually butts up against this forward support, or this top side support, I guess I should say. Kind of butts up to it there, and then we'll epoxy it in. Boom. One there, one here. I got one there, and then one back here, right? Mark's Boat Works actually sent some blind nuts for this particular scenario. So, or actually, you know what? This isn't a blind nut. This is more like a standoff. So what I'm thinking is we'll put the hatch on. We'll drill straight through once we get them all installed, and then we'll install this like that from the bottom up, right? And epoxy this into place. Now, if you don't have this, if you use a piece of 3mm thick carbon fiber, that carbon fiber should be thick enough. If you drill your hole tight enough, you can probably use one of these threaded inserts. Boom, one of these. Now this may be apt to pulling out, but you can use this, right? If you drill the hole tight enough and you tap it in. Only thing tapping on this while it's on the boat, that's a bitch, but you got to drill the hatch first into this. You know, it's a whole process that you have to take. Drill the hatch and drill straight into them, and then you know where your hole is on the bottom of the hole, and you can install these. So I think I'm going to go this route because it won't pull out. You know, this possibly could. So that's what we're doing. Okay, I got 4 of them. They're actually kind of freaking expensive. Well, when I say expensive, you get 4 of them for like $10. You know what I'm saying? So in my eye, that's actually, for just a little piece, it's like kind of pricey. So that's the plan. I'm going to go ahead and get these, well, I don't know. I'm going to get them prepped up. I actually have to go to the store and get some alcohol. I roughed up the edge, roughed up under the boat, and cleaned it really good, and I'm epoxying it in with the G-Flex. Okay, so I'll show you what it looks like tomorrow when it's all cured up. Ooh, doggy. It's the next day, boys, and the hatch lock base, it turned out so freaking good. Whoever said putting a hatch on a Dominator or hatch locks on a Dominator would be easy? Ooh, they're out of their mind, because getting these little triangles lined up so that they're all about the same, like width from the corner, all the same throughout, working overhead, keeping them on while you're trying to clean up the glue. It was tough, right? Oh man, but it looks good. It came out so good. All the tedious wiping with alcohol, cleaning, moving, adjusting, it was worth it, right? So we're gonna leave this for the right now. I'm still thinking about which one I want to go with. I want to go with an M4 or M3. So still kind of contemplating which route I want to go with the locking mechanism itself. So we're actually, before we get any farther on the build, we're going to be doing some hole reinforcement. The boat don't really need it. I mean, well, it does if you're pushing for 100 mile an hour. If you're just turning ovals with this boat, you know, or like light speed, just recreational speed running. I'm trying to break a damn record, right? That's what we want to do eventually. But if you're just doing ovals, you don't need to do what I'm about to do. The hatch locks, I think that's a must. We should have done it on our previous one. So we're about to take this sandpaper and rough up the seam, get down to some good material, the tip, and then we're going to flood the bow with alcohol, rubbing alcohol. We're going to wipe it out a few times, let it dry completely, mix up some epoxy, and we're basically going to use this 3.5 inch wide fiberglass wove cloth on the seam, basically from here all the way back to here. Okay, and then the tip, any scrap strings I have, little pieces of cut off, we'll basically pack the tip with stuff like that. And then another area, I'm gonna do both sides. Okay, 3.5 inch cloth. I was thinking about putting a piece here on the top side, but I don't think I am. I was thinking about it. It's something to consider. Because the carbon fiber is pretty damn strong, right? What we're going to do over here is reinforce this portion of the hull where we removed the support, right? So this is with the support, no flex. It's very strong, very sturdy. Back here where we removed it, got a little flex, which should be okay. But we're going to go the extra mile since we are going to push this boat and take a piece of fabric. Basically what I want to do back here is go from the hatch opening somewhere in here, wrap it around the seam, and we'll stop like right here so it's not visible when you look in the boat. We're just supporting the seam and the top side to give it a little more rigidity. So this is what it looks like before. Okay, that's with the support that comes stock. I removed it. This is what we got, and I'll show you what it looks like after we reinforce here in between the water exits and here behind the water exits. Okay, I'm gonna show you the seam. I'm gonna show you the seam. It looks like they used a 3/4 inch, maybe an inch. Yeah, it looks like an inch. See that fiberglass tape right here? This is what reinforces the seam, which is sufficient. So any type of reinforcement you do to the seam, it actually needs to be wider than 1 inch. If it's not wider than 1 inch and you're just packing like carbon fiber or something like that in there, it's not going to work. It's actually got to overlap the existing seam tape. So however wide the existing seam tape is, you need to overlap it by about a 3/4 of an inch to an inch on both sides, top and bottom. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do this. I have videos showing how to do this. I basically rough it up, clean it up, and then I'll take an aluminum rod with a paintbrush on it, and I can bend it, maneuver it, and use that to lay it out with. Okay, I'll show you what it looks like when I'm done. This is what it looks like before I get started on it. See the tape? It looks like they laid the tape out really nice all the way around the boat. Up front, you see how it tapers to like nothing? So we want to, we want to really reinforce the tip of the boat. You know, that's what takes the hardest hit, the tip and the transom. Right. So I'm going to be using my tried and true VENOM carbon epoxy here. It's a laminating resin. Okay, got everything prepped up. I put my boat on foam so it don't slip around, and I also put foams on my hardware so the brick wall don't mess it up or damage it. It also will keep it from like sliding all over the place. It kind of stays where it's supposed to. And I got everything roughed up, cleaned up with alcohol. It's been about 10 minutes, so it should be dry and taped off. So I got one side in, boom, going through the other side. All right, I got both sides reinforced, and can you guys see the dry carbon fiber ball of strings? I'm about to wet that out. Oh, we could throw this high voltage Cobra 5 in it. Throw that 1400 kV 4070 and run it on 12S. Who would want to do that? I mean, geez, that. Oh man. So it's been about 4 or 5 hours, and my epoxy's pretty much cured out. It's hard to the touch, and you could see that I wrapped that fiberglass cloth all the way around the top and bottom. That looks pretty damn good if you ask me. You can see the tip there. You see the tip where I packed those hairs up there, and it joined those two pieces of fabric, right? Oh, that looks so good. And then right here, oh, hopefully I can show you. Right here, I got the fiberglass to come all the way to the lip right there, and I stopped it. I stopped it about 10 millimeters under the seam tape. I didn't really want it. I should have brought it down a little bit more, but I didn't know if it. I didn't want it to impede me sticking my XLX2 down or the Cobra 5 high voltage, right? That ESC would actually fit in here. All I would need to do is well, I'll probably have to desolder my bullets, cut this real, well, I don't know, I could probably heat shrink up, and then I could like bend my wire down a little bit. If it did fit in here, it would be barely, it would barely fit right there. But no, I don't even know if it will. Oh, I don't even think it will. Yeah, it's too long. Yep. Yeah, it's too long. Anyway, that would be insane, right? 12S Dominator. Holy freaking cow. Holy cow. That would be just stupid. I mean, who in their right mind would do that? Just kidding. So, whenever I was done with my epoxy, by the way, I ended up using about 35 grams, 40 grams for this whole project. Didn't add a lot of weight, so that's good. Like I said, this isn't fully cured. I'm expecting a little more rigidity once it is fully cured, but I'm actually pressing down on it pretty hard, and it's got some stiffness to it now. So I feel a little better removing this hull support, and then we added our own support so that we can put our ESC where we want it, you know. So I feel good. I feel good about that. The hull support, much more rigid, right? But once we put our hatch on, and then we secure the hatch with the screws, that will add a little rigidity here. That'll keep this from caving in a hard crash. So I feel good. So when I was done, I rinsed my brush off with alcohol, and then I used that alcohol enriched, epoxy enriched alcohol. I took a big brush with that epoxy enriched alcohol, and I went over the whole boat inside, right? I took that thinned out alcohol, thinned out epoxy alcohol in the hull, and basically just cleaned it all up, you know, like where I had laid that fiberglass out, I had some like really nasty epoxy running and stuff, so I caught the runs, and I kind of cleaned the hull up with that epoxy enriched alcohol, and it actually brought some of the color out, which looked pretty good. So I wiped it down with the alcohol brush, and then I took a paper towel and kind of dried it off, wiped up all my rails, and you know, cleaned everything, the hull and everything, made sure everything didn't have any freaking epoxy on it. So I got my connector soldered up onto the ESC. So now what we'll do, get some double-sided tape, figure out exactly where we're going to put this. Before we install it, we need to put the cooling lines in, and we'll go ahead and get the motor mounted up, and we're pretty much done. We're pretty much done, right? Oh yeah, we got to drill the holes for this. So let's go ahead and do that before we put the electronics in, because we're going to make a mess and we need to clean it up. So basically what you do, okay, you put your little triangles in, boom. Then we're going to get us, I like using this guy right here, this adjustable ruler, and I'll find a good point to pull from, right? I want to leave myself enough room to put hatch tape on, okay? And we'll get us a corresponding drill bit and basically mark it and drill straight in. Okay, I'll walk you through it. Okay, so I think this is what I'm going to use. This is a standoff, okay? It's made to epoxy in the hull, and then you attach like an ESC tray to it, or you know, whatever you got to do. It's like a blind nut almost. That's kind of how we're going to use it. This is a standoff, so they actually designed this so that when you screw your tray down, the screw won't go past the bottom of this of this standoff. You see that? It stops. It bottoms out, right? So we need the screw to go into it all the way through it. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a drill bit and we're going to slightly modify it. That should do it right there, hopefully. And we'll go ahead and put our M4 in, and we'll see. Yeah. So now we can screw our screw all the way through, because this is going to be mounted like this in the boat, and then our hatch screw will go in. Okay, now I can use a curled knob, which I think I have 4 of. I might only have 3, and so we'll just kind of wing it until we get the right hardware. We'll just use an M4 right into each corner. Boom. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So I got 3 more to go. So now that we got the locking mechanism worked out, this is what I'm doing just to mark where my triangle is. But you gotta be as stealthy and still as a freaking Jedi, right? So you get your marker set right over the triangle. This is just an easy, fast way to do it. Get it set over the triangle, boom, and then mark it, boom. So you kind of know where your triangle is. I went ahead and marked all 4. Okay, so now we can actually take our measuring tool and kind of get a judge of where we want our hatch locks to go. Okay, so I'm going to go here. That looks good. There, looks good. Looks good. Up here, looks good. That looks good. Looks good. Okay, so we got plenty of room on all 4. So I'm thinking we're going to go boom, boom, mark it, and drill it. Okay, I'm just going to go inside of my mark just a hair. Okay, go straight through. Okay, so we know where the hole's going to be at. I'm going to drill it. Yeah, that's perfect. Dang, I could have went out farther a little bit more. Okay, so that's okay. That's all right. That's good. Boom. Okay. So we got all 4 holes drilled. Okay, looking good, looking good. All right, so now I actually need to measure this because I want it to be a nice tight fit. So 5.9. I want to get a bit that's 5.9, 4.8. So I got some 40 grit here, roughing up the bottom of this carbon fiber with this 40. Gonna clean it real good. I got some 5-minute zap. We're gonna zap these suckers in there. Okay, boom, 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 and we're done. Just poured me some zap. I'm gonna try to at least get 2 of these inserts in. Okay, this stuff dries so fast. Hopefully I can get 2. So I gotta work quick. Oh, I forgot my gloves. Always do. Always do. Yeah, once this stuff right here starts kicking off, that's it. You can't work with it no more. Maybe I can get 3. Boom. Boom, boom. Nope. I'm going to have to clean out the I'm gonna have to clean these out. I got freaking epoxy in the, oh boy, oy vey, oy vey. All right, I gotta work on this. So that actually looks really awesome. Turned out really clean looking, you know. So I'm gonna let that kick off for a few minutes. I've actually got this one over on the other bench. This is the Zonda. I just put 4mm motor mounts in. Just epoxy the stuffing tubes in, and I'm about to hook up the ESCs after I get off after I finish up with this, and test it out, like test the driveline, so I can get this sent off. That'll be one less boat that I have to work on right now, you know. So I don't know. It's been about 15 minutes since I put these in. Let's test it out. Let's see what we got going on here. Hopefully no hiccups here. You need to cut them short. Well, I'll just use curled knobs. I don't want to have to take this. So far so good. So far so good. So as you can see, I still have permanent marker on this hatch. Alcohol will remove that permanent marker. Yeah, I roughed up this carbon fiber really good before I put that zap on there with that 40 grit, you know, and these things should be locked in there, you know. Oh yeah, that's awesome. Hell, we might just use a screw like this. I might have to get me some of them. Hell yeah, boy. Still gonna have to tape it up because there's really not enough lip to put foam around this. I mean, I guess I could. I've got some foam that we can use for it. This stuff right here, I don't know how the hell I'm gonna glue it down yet. I gotta put this on the Bulgarian, and I just don't know what to stick it down with, you know. But this might work for a seal. Just in case the hatch tape blows off, we're not going to take on water in this seam. I was considering putting the damn hatch lock right here. One here, one here. I'm almost tempted to do it because I got 2 more of those things. I found another one. So, man, it would be so nice to have 6. Oh, anyway, any freaking way. So, reinforced. We got to add flotation. That's coming. Okay, we got this right here reinforced. We got the hatch locks on. We got the stinger worked out. We'll need to set everything up once we get the electronics in. But I feel that we got the hull like squared away, right? It's ready for 100-mile-per-hour pass is what I'm trying to say, you know? Yeah, so it's actually a lot more rigid than what it was earlier after we did it. I got the motor in here. By the grace of God, I got the motor in. Kobe had changed out the motor mount. I knew that because he put these nipples in. And I'm thinking that this is a 36 series mount. Of course, we're running a 40 series. So I actually had to get my drill in there to well, for one, open up the slits to accept a 4mm screw. And then the existing mount wasn't, the mounting hole location wasn't wide enough, so I actually had to drill out, wire out, side to side, outside, and I was planning on running these little screws that took me about an hour to modify and reduce the head size, but I just couldn't get them in the motor head, you know. So I put some big fat washers on, and we got it. And I had made these to mount the forward support with. Now, this motor mount has some up and down play, so we need to support this, right? So I was hoping we could do this. It would be rather low profile, and I would be able to get it to work out like this, but it's just not low enough to meet up to the elongated hole, not high enough to put a screw in. So me and my buddy Jake, we were just on a video call. It's my local running buddy, right? And I was explaining to him what I had going on, and we were brainstorming together, and you know, he was talking about cutting a piece of carbon fiber, you know, like, and just put up under it right here, like a half moon piece of carbon fiber, and let it like just epoxy that carbon fiber in and let it kind of just sit on that carbon fiber at the right angle. Now that would work, Jake. It would. And then while he was explaining that to me, I actually flipped this support around, and I was like, well, damn, you know what? Let's just do it like this. So I'll drill a hole, come off that elongated hole here, put an elongated hole right here, and we'll flip this over so we can at least support the motor right now, right? So I think that's what we're going to do. I'll just kind of semi-tighten it down here, just tight enough, snug enough that I can spin this around, and then we'll run it like that with two supports. I know it kind of looks odd, but that's kind of the only thing I can do with this big block at the moment. Kind of wishing I would have cut this piece right here out when it was like broken loose, but I'm kind of glad I didn't. So I went ahead, put the screw in my mount, Loctited it, cinched it down, spun the mount upside down, made sure I could get my ESC in there, and this is basically what I come up with. So this is 0.5 millimeter carbon fiber. I went thin carbon fiber so I wouldn't have to take any of the width down on this forward support, so I can use the forward support in other applications later on. So this will work. This will work. It really just needs to support the motor up and down. So I had some play. Now no play, none. So that's perfect. That's a lightweight, quick, easy solution for me. Okay. So I need to actually take these out, figure out what he's got going on. I think he stripped one out, so I may actually try to find, or actually I'll probably drill it out, put a nipple. I'll put a nipple in here. I'll run this jacket forward, right? That's why I didn't want to use these mount right here for the forward support. I wanted to run this forward. I'm going to drill this out, put a brass tube in it, make a little nipple with a brass tube, drill it out, permanently Loctite it, and we'll have rear motor mount cooling, the water jacket, and then out the boat, of course, we'll have the ESC cooled. So that's basically my setup right now. Unless something changes, I should be able to run some higher milliamp packs in this boat back, or some low milliamp packs forward, 8S packs, of course. So now all we got to do in the next video, we'll finalize it. This was basically hull and setup, right? We're going to pack it jam-packed full of foam. Gonna run flotation all the way down this right hand side, starboard side for you sea lovers. Port side's gonna get foam here. Okay, considered pouring it, but I think I have some big blocks that we'll use and some long strips back here. And the hatch, we're gonna pour foam. We'll pour foam in the hatch all right here. We'll get us a big bubble of foam there. That'll add flotation to the actual hull itself if we flip. And yeah, we're on the home stretch, you guys. I still need to put my grub screws and everything in here, get a tune on it, but yeah, this is looking pretty damn good. So the ESC post right here, that wire coming off the post, it's actually acting as a support. Also, the hull will be supported by the canopy. Kind of be supported back here and up here once we have this on, right? So it'll prevent the top side from caving in a hard crash. You know what I'm saying. It adds some support, in other words. So the video's getting long. I'm gonna stop jacking my jaws. I think that looks pretty cool, right? It's coming along. It's coming along. Project 100 mile per hour. Here we freaking come. Okay. Yeah. Appreciate you guys watching. Hopefully you guys learned something. Maybe you were entertained, right? Maybe you could teach me something. Who knows? Drop a comment. Hey, hit the like button. Subscribe to the freaking channel. It's free. You know. Yeah. Have a good day. Keep the pretty side up. Appreciate you watching.